Welcome to yet another Nerds with Badges episode. For those that don't know, Nerds with Badges is a platform that I started where other nerds with badges, whether it's police officers, security guards, anybody with a badge who's into nerd culture, which is video games, comic books, movies, music, technology, cool stuff. So I started this platform to bring together people that have a background in all these things that have badges, and where I would just discuss different topics and sometimes have guests. So, Nerds with Badges, May the 4th be with you, because today is the 4th of May, and actually it's the weekend of Free Comic Book Day, which was yesterday. For all those that don't know, every year, the first weekend in May, all the comic book shops all over the planet Earth, as far as I know, do this event called Free Comic Book Day, where you can just go in the comic book shop and get 6 free comic books. Or you could just go to multiple comic book shops if you want to get more. That's a way of getting all the books that are available. Sometimes other businesses will do cross promotions with it, or what's the word I'm looking for? Collaborate, I guess. So I ended up getting like 11 comic books yesterday, and I gave away 3 comics because I ended up getting double. So I went to the comic book shop I always go to, which is Golden Apple, right off of Melrose and La Brea. Usually they will have comics left over, so you can still go later and they'll have books left over because they don't give away all of them. I don't know if comic books are I think it's safe to say comic books aren't quite as popular as they used to be. Still a niche market, but it's gotten bigger because of the Marvel and DC movies, the popularity of the Avengers, Superman, and Batman. So I went to Golden Apple, I got some comic books there, and then I walked down the street to a church which was also participating in the event. Because sometimes they'll have like specific comics that you can only get, like if you go to the coffee shop, they'll have like some books that you won't be able to get. It's a nice incentive, It's been a while since I've been anywhere near a church, so that was really cool. So I ended up getting this Fantastic Four. I read this one already. I try to read these books, man. I try to read them now because what ends up happening sometimes is I'll end up reading a few and then they just stay in my locker or my apartment somewhere, and then they just stack up. I still have books from years ago, Free Comic Book Day, that I haven't read yet. I read this one. This is Superman, and I didn't read this one yet, but the lady, I guess the lady that works on it, I think she's the writer, but she signed it. She was there, so I actually signed one of my comic books for her and gave her Goldie Chan. She's the one of the writers. So she put to Sergio up there in like silver. So I haven't read that yet. I used to read Archie when I was a kid, man. I used to cut classes when I was a kid and read. I used to go to the newsstands and read Archie and Richie Rich, Casper, Hot Stuff. They used to have these things. They used to call them digests. I guess they still have them, but it's like they're small and thicker than the average book, and they have like a bunch of different stories. They used to buy them for like $1.50. Good times, man. Took me back down memory lane anyway. So I got this one, and haven't read that yet. Haven't read this one yet. I will read this tonight. Last night I worked at a different location when I came in, so it's more quiet and more laid back. So I was able to actually read like 4 of the books. I got this one. I read this one because I love the Phantom. He's one of my favorite characters. I got to get the game. There's a game. I think Phantom's a cool character. There's a cartoon. For those that don't know, I think it's on Amazon. but it's called Defenders of the Earth. So you have characters like Phantom teaming up with Mandrake the Magician and some other characters. I think there's Flash Gordon there in the front. But it's kind of like the Avengers before there was an Avengers, basically. Godzilla, of course I read that one. It's pretty cool. They have people with powers now, apparently, that are fighting Godzilla. Or hybrid mutant people. Go figure. I haven't read this one yet. I guess I'll read this at some point, and maybe more for like more kids. I don't know. Maybe more kid oriented. I don't know, just kid, just a book by its cover. Maybe not. Maybe it just has that appearance, but I'll read it. It looks pretty cool. I mean, I'll read anything. I really don't buy physical books that often. Usually if I buy a physical book, it's because I'm like out of town or something, and then I'll go try to, patronize the local comic book shops to get stuff to read on the plane back. I did read this. Did I? No, I didn't. I didn't read this. Pardon me. So, yeah. So this is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 11 books. I said that already. Yeah, and I had a few extras, and I gave them to some kid that was standing outside trying to like raise money for something, and I was like, gave her $5 and gave her the comic books. So I was gonna give them to some kid, some random kid I saw in the streets. I don't need any more junk in my apartment. So yeah, free comic book day. So it's good to get out of the house and mingle with humans every now and then. It's important to development. Today, I turned my Xbox on to play some games. Well, one game in particular. It was Gigabash, which is a game. I think the company, it's an independent company. I think they are, I don't know if they're Korean, Malaysian company. But it's basically it's a giant monster fighting game. And they added some really cool DLC later down the line. They added Godzilla, they added Ultraman, and some other characters. I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm hoping that one day that they will add Gamera. That would just be like too much. I would totally lose my shit if they added Gamera. Gamera's a giant monster like Godzilla. Gamera's a badass character, man. I mean, there's a really, really cool Gamera cartoon on Netflix. You got to check it out if you haven't. So like I said, I fired up my Xbox to play some gameplay that I was going to upload to YouTube tonight. I left the freaking flash drive at home on my damn table when I was rushing out the door. My Lyft was like, I don't know if the app was acting up. It wasn't telling me how far the driver was from me. Then all of a sudden it was like 1 minute, and then I had to run downstairs basically. So I left the flash drive there on my table with my Gigabash gameplay. But I really wanted to try that game on all platforms. I've been playing it on PC for years now. I've been playing it on my PlayStation 4 for years, my PlayStation 5. I meant to say, yeah, I don't think it's on PlayStation 4. So I remember years ago, they had a beta, like a trial, and I played it and I fell in love with the game. That's kaiju, giant monsters. I love this stuff. So I played it and was really, really happy that they started adding the other monsters. I mean, there's a Godzilla game on PlayStation. I've been playing that game for probably 10 years at least on my PlayStation 4 onto my PlayStation 5 because it's backwards compatible. The disc is very hard to find and very expensive, and you can't download it anymore, but you can't buy it anymore from the PlayStation Store, which sucks because I think that more people will be playing it. I don't know what's going on with that, but Gigabash, I wanted to try it out on the Xbox to see what it looked like because they added it later for Xbox and for Switch. It was always on PC and then PlayStation. So the Switch version is like more lower res. Like looking at it, I was playing it the other day. I was like, oh man, this is compared to the Xbox version, everything just looks and sounds better. And of course on the PlayStation it looks and plays better. But before I played Gigabash, I I always check my library for some reason when I launch my Xbox. I will look at I have so many games on Xbox. Xbox gives you the option to play a lot of older games through backwards compatibility. And I don't know, it was just on a whim. I just decided to just look at all my games. I do try to check Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, because if you're paying for the service, you might as well check. Sometimes you can miss games. So these games don't always stay on the PlayStation Plus or Game Pass. Some games, I guess the first party games on Xbox would probably stay there, maybe PlayStation, but some of the games drop off. And I started going back into playing Liza P, because I hadn't gotten far in it, and when I saw it was going to drop off, I rushed back to try to get as far as I could before the game would be taken out of the Game Pass, which lets you play it for free. So they license these games for a limited time, and I guess it makes sense that they have to go back into the marketplace eventually, so developers can make more money off of their game than they would if they're just being on the service. I'm sure Microsoft gives them a grip to put the game on the platform for the limited amount of time, but then how much money are you going to make if your game is available on a streaming service? Just like on movies on Netflix, they'll be there. Sometimes the movies are there for a while and then they drop off, except for usually the original stuff, unless it's the Disney Plus stuff like the Defenders and Daredevil and all that stuff. That all went to Disney Plus. That was a Netflix original. But like I said, I was looking through my games tonight, and I realized I've got like 1,000 something, but that was like the full library. And then I looked at like all the games that I own, and it's interesting. I have 810 games. That's what I'm sure there's probably more than that, but it's weird sometimes. Like certain games that I know I have on my Xbox One, they weren't showing up there in my library for whatever reason. I don't know what's up with that. And but I saw I have 810 games, and I was just scrolling, and there's so many games I have that I haven't even finished yet. Out of that 810 games, I mean, I think it's safe to say less than half of those games are actually complete. So that to me is a problem, knowing that I have that many games in my backlog. And with everything that's going on with prices of games going up, I think this is a good point, a good place in time for me to just start cutting back on games that I buy. I think that Game Pass and PlayStation Plus, and the games that Nintendo gives me, I think, for the membership, I think I've got enough games. I did see that I pre-ordered the Capcom Fighting Collection. It's going to be coming out on the 15th. But yeah, I'm going to really not be buying too many games. Thank God Doom, the new one, is going to be on Game Pass. I don't have to worry about buying that. When Call of Duty comes out, I guess I won't have to buy that either because I have Game Pass Ultimate. So it's not, unless there's like something big coming out that I don't know about. I'm probably it right now. I'm probably done with buying any games for the rest of 2025. I know I said I wanted to get the Switch 2. I'm gonna just put aside money for it. I'm not gonna try to pre-order it because I think it's probably safe to say that it's not gonna happen. I think I was hoping Nintendo would send me an email just to put my name on the list, but it hasn't happened. So I'm just gonna put money aside for it, and then when I've got the 450, because I know the bundle for the 500 with Mario Kart is gonna go like crazy. It's gonna be like a limited time. So once I get 450 in the savings that I have for the Switch 2, I'll go look for it and see if I can find one, because I do want the Mario Kart. It just sucks that without the bundle, you're gonna pay like $80 for this game, and that's what they're doing now with these prices. So I probably won't end up getting one until later on in the year. I'm thinking I definitely want to do it before the holidays come around, because I know once the holidays come around, it's really going to be impossible to get one. But as far as I know, pre-orders are gone. There are no pre-orders left for Switch 2. So it's pretty much you just walk in the store with a prayer and hope that they have some. And a lot of times stores will have. You just have to keep checking, when they get their shipment in. I know that the tariffs was the reason why Nintendo delayed their shipment, the pre-orders. But I know they actually, the Switch 2 was actually supposed to launch last year, but they delayed the launch because they said they wanted to fight the scalpers and give people, more chances to actually have one. So I don't know how many of these things they're making a day. It's interesting when you think about these machines slapping these parts together and then just rolling down the assembly line and going into a box. But it's just the supply and demand for these things. I guess I was maybe hoping in the back of my mind that enough people would be mad about the prices and maybe complain and maybe get these companies to roll back. Because when people come together and complain about this stuff, things happen. It just doesn't happen, and it doesn't happen often enough. It happened with Helldivers 2. It happened when Xbox raised the price of Game Pass years ago, and it also happened when Sony was doing something with the store for the PSP and the PS Vita and the PSP, the PS Vita. I know they was doing something with their store. They were going to shut it down, and people complained so much that they changed it. They extended the time, and I think that Nintendo may have even done something. I don't know if they just did it. They just extended it. But Nintendo, they shut down the stores. They shut down the online. And I just think it's ridiculous that you could have a system, and eventually you won't be able to play your games online or download them anymore. And I was trying to play Mario Kart on my Switch, my regular Switch, the other day, and I tried a few times and I wasn't able to get online to play, and I don't know what's going on. I kept getting this error, and it's not something that's happened before. And I don't know if it's the new update that they just did for the Switch. They added some more functionality with the Switch, with the update. So I don't know what's up with that, but I have not been able to get online to play Mario Kart, which is like my go-to game on the Switch. So Nintendo, I don't know what you've done, but hopefully maybe it's just an isolated event. But I did do a little research online, and I saw some other people have had this problem before. So I don't know. It's just crazy that after all this time, all of a sudden, I can't get online to play Mario Kart. Am I being set up? Are you trying to take away that so that I will gravitate towards getting the Switch 2 so I can play Mario Kart? I put a lot of money into Mario Kart, man, over the years, buying all the extra stuff, because originally Mario Kart 8 came out on the Wii. The Wii U, and then they ported it over to the Switch, and they added like all this DLC, and it was crazy. They added so much stuff over the years, and I bought all this stuff, and I think I've got all the characters unlocked now. Most of the cars, I think, too, because there's like stuff that I didn't even know I had to unlock. I went back and started playing the regular mode, the offline modes, and there was like stuff that I unlocked. It's like, okay, different car parts. So I don't know why they're charging $80 for Mario Kart World, man. I don't know. Maybe they're gonna keep this game going for the rest of the generation, however long that lasts. The Switch has been around for 8 years now, incredibly. So I guess people are going to be probably playing the Switch 2 for at least 10 years, because I think the Switch has a lot of life left in it. I don't think a lot of people can afford to run out and buy these new systems. And I think people might actually get priced out of games. Some people are saying the gaming industry is headed for a crash. I don't know if I believe that, but it is getting expensive. And the word on the street is that Grand Theft Auto, which got delayed to next year, surprisingly not, is probably going to be a substantial amount, maybe more than than the regular price of games, which is now $69.99 for the big games. So indie games, man, are just going to probably make a lot of money because people aren't going to be able to afford to buy these big games unless they wait for sales or they just wait for the price to drop down. Because you wait 6 months, you get Mortal Kombat, for maybe $30, but then the price eventually probably goes back up. Most of the time, the price will go back up, but like I've seen Mortal Kombat for as low as like $30, man, and it's crazy. It's not always advertised, but you gotta check. It's pretty amazing how low some of these games go when they have sales, and then when you go back, and you just missed it, and it's like $69.99, and it's like, oh my god. So, having said all that, I'm gonna definitely be cutting back on how many games I'm buying. Definitely getting more into PC gaming. I would still like to say I want to get me a Switch too. I don't think I'm going to change my mind on that because I love Mario Kart. The Donkey Kong game looks good, and the Blood Dust or something, looks like a vampire game. I don't know. The exclusives are probably going to get me. Anything else I can just get on the other platforms. I said to myself, I'm just going to stick to superhero games, and of course, if there's a Godzilla game, I know there is a Kaiju number 8 game coming out, but hopefully it won't be, they'll really put some some money and resources into it, because I know it's going to be mobile. That's when I heard it was going to be mobile, I was a little concerned. I'm not saying mobile games are bad, but it's quick and easy to make these games for phones. They don't have to have like the best graphics. It might be riddled with microtransactions. I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna just really scale back my purchases of these games and just try to save money, be more budget conscious, and yeah, I mean, I have to cut back anyway. I got to put money into like other things, my projects that I'm working on. So that's it for now. I'm gonna try to get in some gaming before my shift starts. I got about maybe 30 minutes, and I'll get my uniform and change. So that's it for today, for May the 4th, 2025, and I'm out for now.